Hi everybody, this is Lainey from Camp Joy Farms. There was no video yesterday. I put one out yesterday, but that was filmed Saturday when the LSU game got in the way of all of my plans. This morning though, I was like, okay, it'll be no problem. T-17 video was just skipped and I'll explain it, and I'll do a T-16 video, which is today. There's 16 days from today left until we have to move out of our house. And so that was my plan. I had some plans of things to do. I kind of got rocking and rolling early this morning, and I was just kind of on a path to where I was getting breakfast finished, getting Richard bathed, and then I was going to hit it. Boy, I was going to hit it. And two things happened. And I guess this video will be the third example of just stopping what you're doing and changing your plans. I've stopped what I was going to make my video about today, and I'm changing my plans. And the reason I'm doing that is because two other things happened that made me just stop and change my plans. Let me explain. I just about was fixing to put Richard in the shower and help him get in the shower and get that accomplished. And this is a routine we have every other day. And the reason I'm even bringing this up, I normally don't sit here and tell you my routine every other day. We just talk about gardening, talk about projects, you know, moving or whatever. But I do want people to understand that this is the things I have to work in my life as well. And it's real, and it does affect what I can kind of get done every day. But we've gotten in a routine and we've learned to rock and roll. And so it's okay. But I want to explain, that's the point I was at this morning. Is I had finally gotten to that point where I had clothes drying, the kitchen clean, breakfast done, I got dressed, and then I was ready to get Richard dressed, and then I was gonna get on with my day, just rah, pack, do things, load my car up, whatever I could do, I was gonna get it done. And somebody knocked on our front door. Nobody ever really comes over and knocks on our front door on a weekday. This is Monday. So I went and looked out, and it was a man that my husband used to work with, and they're friends, but he comes over every few months or so, and he decided to come over today. And so at first, you know, your human instinct is like, oh no, all my plans aren't gonna, they're fixing to have to just stop because we've got company. That's just your human instinct. But I don't ever want anybody to feel that way when they come over, especially if they're coming over to see Richard, because I do appreciate anybody that has taken time out of their day to come visit him. So I just told him, I said, come on in and sit in the den and just put the TV on whatever channel you want. I'm gonna finish bathing him and then we'll be out in just a little bit. So he did, that's fine. Look, I kind of learned to roll with some things. But also, I wanna point out that in my mind sometimes, and it's a spiritual thing, but in my mind, I always think, you never know what that person might be needing. He came over to see Richard, but maybe he was needing to talk. Maybe, you know, I don't know. And I don't mean to put that on people, my judging why they might be coming over or why they might be calling, or even somebody walks up to you in a store. They might be smiling and telling you hello, but I always think to myself, let me be as nice as I can be, because you don't know what's going on in their life right now. Maybe they just needed to say hey, needed to stand in the store and talk. I try to avoid being that person who is always rolling forward with their own plan, which I try to make plans, so it's hard sometimes to put the skids on. But I don't want to be that person that's rolling forward all the time and doesn't stop to look at that human being across from you, that human being that wants to say hey to you at the store, that human being that you run into at the post office that you don't even know, but they smiled at you, and they just might need a smile that day. So at first, that was the mode I was in. Let me just welcome this coworker Richard's in. Let me just make him feel right at home, come visit. And I'm thinking that I'm doing this maybe for his life, you know, make him feel welcome and feel good. But as usual, God has all kind of plans going on. So he just kept asking questions about our move and this and that. And he finally said, you're going to need a ramp, aren't you? For Richard to be able to get in and out of that mobile home, you know? And I said, yeah. I said, I've been studying it. And here's all my notes. I said, I've looked on the ADA website, and I'm learning about the slopes and all the guidelines for safe ramps and all that kind of stuff. And I said, I pretty much have it sketched out. I said, I need to make me a material list and kind of get it all shaped up in my mind. I said, it depends on how high your trailer is off the ground as to how long your ramp needs to be. The ADA guidelines, and not that anybody from ADA is going to inspect this, but the guidelines are there for a reason, for safety, and that's okay. So I want to be safe. And the ADA guidelines say that for every inch high that your structure, whether it's a house, a porch, or whatever, ours will be a mobile home, however high it is off the ground, you need 1 foot of ramp for every inch, in other words, that it goes to the ground. So if our trailer is 30 inches off the ground, our ramp needs to be 30 foot long. Now, if the ramp is that long, there's also supposed to be a little flat resting part. You could have a slope and then a flat part to let somebody catch their breath, let their wheelchair have a place to just sit still and not move, and then you can slope the rest of it down to your carport. There's all kind of ways to twist the, have it going this way and then turn and come back this way and go down. There's different ways to do it, but that's the general gist, is that you would need 30 feet of ramp with possibly a rest area if it's 30 inches off the ground. If it's less than that, if our trailer is only 26 inches off the ground, you technically don't have to have that resting spot. However, I kind of think it's a good idea. I kind of think if you had about a 5 foot little space that's flat, it's kind of a good idea. It just gives everybody, not just Richard, but his mother and stepfather, my mother, anybody coming over to our house, it gives them a little landing to stop on before they go up the rest of the ramp to come in our door. So when you want to know what's going through Lainey's mind all the time, I have a lot of things going through my mind. And one of the main things is getting this ramp built, because Richard cannot get in the trailer without it. We can get it set up, we can get it skirted, we can get electricity put to it, we can have the sewer hooked up, we can have it looking great. He can't get in it. He cannot walk up steps safely. Those steep trailer steps, he cannot do it. And then if he got in it, Lord help me, I'm gonna have to get him out of it if we go somewhere and back up it again when we get home. No, it's not gonna happen. He needs a ramp to slowly walk up on, or if he happens to be in his wheelchair, he needs a ramp that gives him that safe way to go down. So long way around of saying, our guest today was asking me about had I thought about this. And I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I lay in bed at night building it in my mind. I used to build furniture. I'm not intimidated to build this thing. I do need a little front porch coming out from our house on the front. I want it big enough just to at least put a chair or two so I can sit out on my front porch. But the ramp would be the main thing. We're gonna build a back porch later that would be more for us to relax on, have a swing on, whatever. We'll build that later. Just to get in the house, just to have Richard be able to get in and live there, I just need a small front porch and a ramp. So I told him, yeah, I'm constantly building it in my mind. And the reason I can't complete it in my mind is because I just don't know how high the trailer is gonna be off the ground to exactly plan how long the slope needs to be. It could end up being 24 inches or something. So you just never know. I don't really know. So anyway, he said, don't worry about it. I think I know a plan. And I was like, what? I said, I was without words. I was like, what do you mean? And he said, I think I know somebody can do that for you. Somebody that used to build porches on our buildings at work all the time. He said, one of the guys I work with. And he turned around and said the name to my husband, and my husband said, yeah, I remember him. Yeah, he might could do it. And so I told him, I said, well, I will pay him. I said, I don't mind paying him. I said, I need it done kind of quickly so that Richard can get in the trailer. I said, but I don't mind paying somebody to help me do it. I said, what's holding me back also is just wondering if I have the right tools. And let me digress a little bit here, and all the women can roll their eyes back in their head if they want to, but the men that listen to me will understand what I'm talking about. I don't want to just, I understand how to build things. I do understand. I used to build tables and furniture and stuff. I understand how to build things. However, for this porch, I wanted to do it a little different. And instead of just having the 4x4 that goes up here and just putting a 2x4 on it, I wanted to notch in the 4x4. I wanted to put a notch so that 2x4 sits in it and goes in it 1.5 inches and rests in that 4x4 to really give it extra strength. I didn't want to just put screw holes through the board right into the 4x4. So to notch out all the 4x4s and do the other notching that I may need, that was what was tripping me up, because I do have a miter saw, but it doesn't have a rotating arm or anything. So it just comes straight down, and I don't know if that would work. I do understand kind of doing a lot of little cuts to kern something and then digging it out. That would take a while. It just would. I mean, I would have to sit there with a little chisel and a sandpaper and do all kind of stuff. So in my mind, I kept thinking, if I could just find somebody who had the right tools to help me with this, then I could get it done. And I have people I could ask. It is just hard for me to ask, because I feel like, and I can make myself cry real quick, I just feel like since this all started in January of 2021, I've had to ask for a lot of help. Or I'm not good at asking. I guess help has come to me, and I've had to accept a lot of help. And I don't like bothering people. For people that have helped me 2 or 3 times, I just hate to knock on their door again and say, I need more, I need more, I need more of your time, I need more of your energy. And that's just hard for me. So for somebody to just step in today and say, quit worrying about it. Could just let me worry about it. Let me take that off your shoulders. And to give me the name of someone that he thinks will just do it for me was crazy. And it was unexpected today. And after he left, he called me within 30 minutes and said, I spoke to him. He says he'll be glad to do it. And he's not taking any money, and he's going to bring 2 or 3 guys, and they're going to knock it out in one day. He just said, let's handle it that way. Let me see your material list. Let me see your sketch. We'll hash it out, and then you order stuff, have it sitting there, and we will do it. It's not for me, it's for Richard, who they worked with and who they respected and still think about. For that to come out of nowhere today just blew my mind, and I appreciate it so much. And while he was here, my phone rang, and it was my friend Mella, and I went and answered it, and same thing kind of happened. She said, I saw your video about pouring the slab for your dogs up at your property. And she said, before you do it, let me go up there. I want to show you some ideas I have. She said, you might want to utilize some of the space under your 18-wheeler container. It'll give them some extra protection in really bad weather and hurricane type weather. And she said also, you could do it in such a way that it might be a good place to do chickens later for when you get chickens. And I did mention I wanted some chickens. So she said, you might could do it in such a way that it could turn into a chicken coop at some point. And she has it in her mind. And I had too much going on because the company was still here. And so I couldn't grasp it all when she was talking about it. But she said, I'll ride up there with you and I'll show you. She said, it might save you some money on concrete and everything. She said the way she had it envisioned. So I said, that's wonderful. So they're going to go back up there with us, and she's going to kind of show me what she was thinking. And I do appreciate that, because I wasn't thinking forward to chickens or any other use for that, really. I was just thinking that in the next 2 weeks or so, I have to have a place for those dogs. I have to have a place, and I need to get it now. And I did talk to the man that I said I was going to call about it, and he's supposed to meet me up there in a day or so. I'm going to set a time with him. So Mella is going to try to go up there with me quick and look at this, so that when he comes, I can better talk to him, not waste his time. I can tell him better what I'm thinking and maybe change what I was thinking to get it done even better. And so that was my whole point of this video today, is to just say that we can think all we want, we can plan all we want, but we have to be able to, I would say, to zig and zag. We have to be able to. If I had told Richard's friend this morning, oh, I'm sorry, I'm fixing to put him in the shower, or, and made him feel like he needed to come back another time or something, it might not have come up, or he might not have come back, not being mad, but just because he might not have had time. And I might never have had that information and that connection today about the people that could help us build the porch. And when I was thinking to myself, let me be kind and nice because I never know what's going on in his life, really God was just making me open that way so that he could work something in my life. And I didn't really realize that. When Mela called, we just talked business about the chicken run and the dog pen and all. But when I hung up, I started thinking to myself, how lucky I am that there's people out there in the world that are trying to figure out how to save me some money, that are trying to figure out how to make my life easier to roll into a new thing. If I decide to get chickens, how can you roll into chickens better by utilizing the makeup of this dog pen and the concrete for this dog pen? And how can you, it's just like, who is out there in your lives thinking about you right now that is worried about things like that for you? I hope we all have many people. I hope there's many people. I just want to be completely aware of the ones that are. And I want to show my appreciation for the ones that are, because it just, I feel alone sometimes in a lot of this, but I'm not. I never really am. I'm not alone. I feel it, and I start feeling like you just feel like you got bricks on your back, and you have a lot to worry about. You know, how am I going to get this ramp built at this, or what comes first, the dog pen or the ramp, or the, you know, and what comes first? And you go to bed at night and you're just like, whoa, and things just happen. People want to say karma. I don't really always like to say karma. I believe that it's always God. I believe God puts you in people's path. God puts people in your path. If you just are open and you try to be kind and you try to acknowledge this when it happens, your life just, I mean, your life can just seem great. I hope that I don't ever convey that we have a sad life, or we have any kind of a, even disrupted life, really. We have a good life. We have a really good life. I want to be honest about certain things sometimes, because how in the world am I going to do a YouTube channel about my life if I never really show you my life? I'm not meaning reality TV. I'm just talking about, if I say I only got 2 loads done to some property that's only 20 miles away, and that's all I got done that day, if I was watching that channel, I would think to myself, she needs to manage her time better. You know, she doesn't seem to be getting a whole lot done, bless her heart. That's what I would be thinking. But if you understand my circumstances and you understand the pace I have to go at sometimes, then we're on the same page. I don't ever want the sympathy or anything like that, because we have a very, very good life. And we have good children, we have wonderful grandchildren, and we apparently have fabulous friends. We knew that already, but it's just more and more apparent as time goes on. We have fabulous friends, and I appreciate that so much. And I hope you have good friends too. I hope you have people that step in the gap for you and bring their talents and their skills to be of service to you. And I hope that you put your talent and skills to their service too. And we all just in it together. And I appreciate everybody. I do appreciate everybody. So hopefully I'll be telling you here shortly how my chicken run / dog pen is coming. And we'll have some filming going on for sure when those fellas are up there building those steps in about a month or so. This is Lainey from Camp Joy Farms, soon to be Hilltop Home Place. Thank you so much for sitting here with me and just chit-chatting for this video. I appreciate it. Today is T-16. Tomorrow will be T-15. We'll see what we can get accomplished. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.